I get shit done, I have fun, it's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.
Explode sales and increase profits. That's what we're going to talk about today with my guests. But before we do that, if you're watching this live and in person with us today, thank you for being here. And if you're not, and it's in a different time zone and you're catching us later, fantastic. Remember, #replay and tell us where you're watching us from. If you've got a question for the Business Renovator, shoot it our way. The way to do that is either in any one of the social media channels or email, which you'll see at the end of the show. And I'll say it right now, phil@coachphil.ca. I would like to make a plug. This is a selfish plug, kind of my sponsor. Hey, welcome back. If you have a question for a coach, well, I'm one, and I'm one of several 100 around the globe. And if send us your question, if you have one, could be around time, team, money, exit strategy / futures. And if I don't have the answer to your question, I can certainly introduce you to somebody else. Also, the other thing you could do is get your complimentary business growth score. Well, how the heck do you do that? Well, you go here. It's a long one, business growth phil-jokes.scoreapp.com, or just go to coachphil.ca and there's a button on there, and you don't require a credit card for that, or ask a coach a question. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about explode sales and increase profits. We've got an extraordinary individual, another Canadian from a different part of our wonderful country. He's going to be talking about that topic with us. Well, we're going to talk about it together. Actually, we're going to have a conversation between two guys who are passionate about helping people in the sales world. So Mark is the founder of Bernard Training Solutions International. It's a sales company sparked to kindle relationships and ignite confidence among the sales leaders of tomorrow. He is absolutely committed to motivating this next generation of CEOs, VP of sales, regional managers, and sales professionals to explode sales and explode profits. As a renowned business-to-business mindset profits coach, sales trainer, and sales coach, Mark helps entrepreneurs achieve sales success through a 6-week Kickstart Your Revenue program and how to sell to corporations signature program. I can't wait any longer. He's coming on right now, and I'm going to say, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you, Phil, for the great introduction. I appreciate that.
Hey, no problem. One Canadian to another Canadian.
Yeah. Yes.
We don't always say that.
Yes.
Do we?
Well, when I traveled through Europe, people took me out of a crowd easily by they caught the A. I'm traveling through, and it's the Americans kind of say yep, and
and sorry.
Canadians, of course, Canadians sorry and A.
And Americans also go Depends which state you're in, right?
Exactly.
Speaking of state, what a great day! I was messing around today, putting out little posts messages to friends. My name is Phil, so I was messing around with some really bad dad humor, and I was trying to get off the hook or try to save my embarrassment. I wasn't really embarrassed, and changed Fun Friday with Phil. I left the without because it doesn't have a F sound. So I changed Friday to a PH, and I spelt fun with a PH. So it's coincides with my name. So
that's cool.
I thought it was a great way to start Friday off. So how do you start Friday off today?
Friday, I start like any other day. As a matter of fact, if you want to just kind of jump into sales, I I tell my clients that Friday is the lost opportunity day, because when people start winding down on Friday, that's where, you can put on a little bit of the juice. So I wake up just like a Monday or Wednesday or a Thursday and jump right into it. And then do I end a shorter day? Maybe I end at 4 rather than 5, maybe if I had a good day. But I jump out of bed and ready for the day. Like it's a Monday. It's an important day where a lot of people kind of like, hey, it's Friday, get ready for the weekend.
Yeah, I just had another PH word I could put on if I ever wanted to do the Fun Fridays with Phil. Could have Fun Financial Fridays with Phil, and spell financials with PH.
Yes, you have a good acronym there. You can go anywhere with PH.
Well, that's right. I have a PH of fun.
Yeah, you could say your PhD day.
PhD and they wouldn't know the day. That's right.
And they wouldn't even know the difference.
That's right. And then I'm not really lying. It's not. It's not
right.
A doctorate. It's just a PhD day.
I've been using Make Your Mark, Make My Mark, that kind of thing, and playing with that. And it's not as good as PH though. I like PH. Too bad I couldn't change my name. Darn it.
Well, you can. They have lawyers to do that.
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
Yeah. Don't like the idea that much.
No,
I don't blame you. It is kind of a fun Friday. I don't usually talk about what day we're at because somebody could be watching this on a Monday, and this wouldn't make any sense talking about a fun Friday on a Monday.
I have a story here for you about Mark. I always ask my mom and dad, how'd you get my name? And my dad was in the military at the time, and they pulled him out. And they said, yeah, you have a boy. Like you missed the birth, but he went, boy, he went, that's a mark on history. And that's where Mark came in.
That's good. Said, it's funny how our names come about.
Yeah.
I was named after royalty.
Oh.
Well, my roots I'm from the UK.
Okay. And with royalty, what line?
The Queen's family.
The Queen's family?
Yes. Okay. Prince Philip.
Have you made the call? Have you tried to make the call and trying to?
I need a trick. How do I get through the gatekeeper?
Boy, that would be a heck of a good gatekeeper to get through. Yeah. And that would be a great story. I think just let's use what you're doing now to get to the gatekeeper and have a good solid conversational script and see if it works. And if you do, I think you'll have a gold mine there. You get through that gatekeeper, you can get through any gatekeeper.
No kidding, right? Because they have a bunch of people that stand very still until you try to break the barriers of the home of the Queen. They'll stop you. They'll walk right over you. That's their job, right? And they wear those funny hats.
They do. And people try to antagonize them. I don't know why they do that.
Oh, well, people are people.
People are people. I went through Europe around 89, and I went through England, and unfortunately they had a transportation strike. The only things that were working were taxis, but all public transit was off. So we couldn't go too far because taxis took 3-4 hours to get. So we didn't go too far other than just where we were originally. So we didn't get the chance to see the black hats.
Yeah,
and their stoic stance.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. Anyway, we wanted to talk about you and Canada exploding sales and increasing profits. And if time allows, we'll actually dig into that. But before we came up with that heading, are salespeople born? We might disagree on this one.
Are salespeople boring?
No, born. B-O-R-N.
Born.
Some salespeople could be boring. Yeah. I mean, people.
I don't think so. I don't think they are. I think it's a skill. Some people have innate qualities that enhance being like a personality. And if you want to talk behavioral styles, there's behavioral styles that are more linked to sales, like behavioral styles are linked to being someone in a lab or being an accountant or being a lawyer. The introverts, extroverts, cautious and kind of just takes the world by the horns and jumps in with both feet. So I think it's a learned skill, especially listening skills is a learned skill. But
Well,
listening is, yeah,
the listening part, I agree with.
yes.
But I'm going to disagree with you. I knew we would.
Okay, and why
I,
is that, Phil?
well,
With a capital PH.
I think we're born salespeople, and it's taught out of us. Think about when kids, they ask a lot of questions. Can I go here? Can I go do this? Can I have this? Can I have that? Why can't we go? Why is this that? And if they don't get it, they'll go to, if they're siblings, they'll go to their siblings and get them. They'll communicate their idea, their desire, their want, their outcome, because they know that if they ask dad, they're not going to get it. But the cute one with the twinky, dimply smile goes and asks dad for ice cream, he get it. So I think it's an innate sort of thing that happens. The listening part, maybe not so much, but the tenacity and the resiliency that's required to be a professional seller and a solution provider, I think it's born, and then it's taken out of us. Like I was watching a documentary, and I forget the name of the teacher, but it was a brilliant story about how schools are all built wrong. They build them in square rooms in a square building, in row by row by row. So he changed all of that in a lower income area in the U.S. And he didn't change the buildings, they didn't the budgets that make them round, but he changed the environment, and he got them to tap into their genius, not suppress it. So as we're growing up, our parents did the best they could do. They didn't have coaches or career track or anything like that back in the day that you and I were brought up. So they did the best they could do based on what they knew and understood. And it was suppressed in us. We're told to be children should be seen but not heard. Well, that takes us out of being expressive, creative, and adventurous. And I think to be a professional seller, you need to be all of that: courageous, curious, and adventurous, and then have a passion for what you're doing. So
yes,
we can agree to disagree about whether that was.
Well, we are actually agreeing because one of the things I do say about my students is that if you want to learn really about negotiations and selling, watch an 8, 9, from a 3 to a 10-year-old, 12-year-old. They will outsell you and out negotiate you. But why I say it's learned is that we're kind of both right. You're right. It is kind of beaten out of us that it's bad to sell, and so you do have to relearn it.
There we go. That's the word.
And some have to learn it again because it's been so beaten out of us that it's almost like it's forgotten. And once you bring it up, it's like a muscle where you can now, a memory muscle where it's easier. But, as you and I both know, sales is one of those things that it's either loved or hated, and it's mistreated out there in dialogue. Oh, you're in sales, and the face goes up, and it's a derogatory term almost.
Oh, it is, absolutely.
Yeah, so I we have to relearn it, but for some, yes, I'm still going to stay to my guns, Phil. We have to learn it because it's so far gone, but we did have it once, correct? And if you want to learn how to sell and negotiate, boy, listen to a child trying to get what they want, and you will learn a ton from them.
So we don't disagree with each other at all, because I totally believe it's the relearn. Now, there's some that didn't buy into being told that not to do that, and they do have some natural innate abilities that they never got rid of. And I think selling is everything. Whether you're selling a product, a service for money and profit, or selling a dad on the idea, going for ice cream, or having your spouse join you for dinner somewhere, or I think it's everywhere. I think what happens, though, is what you said, is the perception of what selling is. Because of the few low-level, unprofessional con people, that's where people tend to go. I did an exercise yesterday, and I tried to do the fact checker to see if it was actually Einstein that actually did it. So I gave him credit anyway, but I couldn't find a fact checker to say it was or wasn't, but I give that guy's credit. And it was really putting up most of the 9 times table on the chalkboard. Mm-hmm. One of the formula, 9 times something, was, we did 9 times 10 was 91. And when I put that up there, all I did was say, so have a look at this. And I said to him, you probably didn't know you're back into elementary school, and and math right. But just have a look at this slide I have up there. And the first person's comment about it, well, 9 times 10 isn't 91, it's 90. And he says, well, isn't that interesting? Why did you navigate to that out of all of it? It was at the bottom of the list. Why did you go there? Well, that's what stood out. I says, okay, we're doing leadership training and talking about how to build your team up.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that we're all wired to do based on our amygdala is to the fight mechanism kicks in.
Right.
So we go and look for the negative first. So in defense of the profession of selling, there's only a few really that make it bad for the many. So the 80-20 rule, it's probably 20% of the population make it bad for all those other people. And once people, and I'm sure you've had this experience as a sales trainer, once they understand the process of what selling is, of communicating of an idea to somebody with passion that makes their life better, then they go, oh, and there's no stress, there's no pressure. It's all done just like you and I are doing, conversation.
Mm-hmm.
They go,
and
I like that.
And I think there's one common denominator that I have found, that the people that are kind of innately good in sales and they've carried that through is the confidence level. Once you have that confidence level, then you can break through a lot of those barriers. And the ones that are innately good in sales, if you notice, their confidence level is very, very high. And they've done a lot of work on themselves, both personal development wise, self-development wise, or self-read, or they're educated, however that works. And I'm not saying that you have to be educated to do that, to go to university to be a salesperson. I'm just saying that they're life learners and their confidence level is higher. Now, if you take someone that doesn't know sales and you build the confidence along with the sales skills, you're going to get, again, a good salesperson. In my belief, that it's going to enhance their quality of the sales understanding of moving their businesses forward, for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, the way one of my teachers and mentors, I've had many along the way, and I continually am learning the art and science of selling. Their early onslaught for me, I've done a whole bunch of things in training, stuff I liked and stuff I go, this doesn't stick. I don't sell that one. So I've put together a program and training that is my experience. And some of my mentors along the way, like Brian Tracy, I love what he says. He says, be a doctor of selling. So a really good doctor is selling too. And what they do is they have a really good diagnostic process where they ask a lot of questions, do some testing. And at the end of it, they got to have a prescription. And the prescription isn't usually just one thing. We could do this or that. We can do this and this and this, or we could do that. Which one makes sense to you? Then back and forth. If you have a good relationship with your doctor, that is. Mm-hmm. Or if you have a good relationship with your seller of the solution or the product that you're looking to buy. If they are at that kind of level of understanding, they're there with high intention, low attachment. So they do want to serve and help you if it's the right thing. And then they'll be the first one to tell you, you know what we've got here isn't a good fit for you. But I know Mark, and he can do this for you. He can help you in that area better than I can. That's professional, I think.
Yes, I agree that we want to become the masters of the craft. And because sales has been such, again, a derogatory term, we all do it every single day. And once we have that understanding, again, that self-confidence, that self-awareness, that's 80% of success is self-aware. And once you realize that, yes, we do sell and I need to learn the selling technique. And once you become a doctor of it, then, you can bring in the understanding. And if I can introduce a new word here, feature benefit selling or feature fishing, some people call it, where you have a line of features, i.e. the doctor just said, here's some ideas for you, some prescriptions, and what one will work with you the best. And that the patient will see the benefit of one or two of those features, and they'll go, I really like this. I don't like that pill. I don't like the side effects of this, and this, but I will try maybe diet. That's an option of a feature. So the patient will pick one of the features that they make for themselves a benefit. So they buy in to one of the prescriptions that they will take it home and now become healthier because of whatever choice that they they choose to do, whether it's food intake, nutrition food, or here's a pill that has little side effects. Okay, I'll try that. That now is a benefit to me, but it was only a feature when the doctor proposed it. And when people understand that we have a bunch of features, and if you know the system of linking up and having a conversation where you can have your prospect or your client tell you the benefit of one of your features, then you can actually close them with confidence.
Yeah.
It's a very convoluted way to bring in the doctors, but it works.
Yeah, well, it's just I like the Brian Tracy saying, be a doctor of selling. Just means that you're asking a lot of questions before you do any prescription. And That's I think the 20% of the population that create the 80% of perception that selling is awful. And I just had an experience the other day. They got onto my calendar. Bad me. I got to put filters on there so I know why they're getting on my calendar. I want people on my calendar, but I don't like surprise. And I had a surprise the other day. And so I get some back office administrative stuff to do. But what they ended up doing was they had something that they were pretty excited about, and they were actually doing the type of, I hate the word pitch unless it's footy or baseball, right? In the professional selling, I think we present our ideas just like a doctor. A doctor doesn't pitch to us, they present.
Exactly.
And so this particular individual did the thing that I dislike about being a seller, and it's one of the things that resonates with me in a negative sort of way, and most of the other people, and that is they pitch. They get into it. They kind of build up the report, try to, and then they go into their thing, whatever it is they're all excited about. And it's like I get to talk to somebody, going to throw enough shit on the wall, and I hope some sticks. And the stuff that sticks is what you'll buy. Well, professional sellers don't do that because it doesn't work. Well, not very often. It's the high pressure, old school, convoluted way of selling. Selling is really is asking questions, learning about the people that you're with, and finding out what you can do to make their life a little bit better.
I completely agree. And where the error comes in is where people go into a call when they give their pitch, and I don't like that word either, is that sometimes they're going in with their own agenda, right?
What? No. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. I just found that out yesterday. I just had that experience to me. Oh, yes. First time only.
Oh, I'm totally on side with you.
And, you talked another thing about people just going blah, blah, blah. I call that feature dumping because all they want to do is tell you about their features, blah, 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 blah. Look at how good I am, blah, 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 without asking questions so they can actually find out what they need. And not going in there with your own agenda, but going in there, how can I serve? How can I be of service so I can move, this company forward? And you know what? There may not be a fit, but by you asking questions, you'll find that out rather than just trying to sell someone that is allergic to oranges, selling them oranges when they like apples. Yeah. And you haven't even asked them if they like oranges.
Yeah.
It's... I always say, you don't want to sell someone a pen until you ask them that if they write. Okay. And if they don't write, then they won't. Why are you even talking to them if they're not writing?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you talked about the behavioral sciences, and I'm a real big fan of that. That's the starting point of pretty much everything I do once I engage with a client is to have them understand that. And the reason being is, Dr. J, as I lovingly call her, Dr. Rothasson, Jennifer is her first name, shared some information. She said, with that type of an assessment, you can save 2 years of learning about who your team member is, who your prospect is, and who your customers are. So if you can accelerate the ability to know who they are and understand how they like to be communicated to, you can serve more people where they're at and build trust and rapport, because that's the first thing. If people don't like and trust you, it's like Bob Burke says, they got to know, like, and trust you before they're going to open up their purse and give you money or spend time with you. And that's the difference between exploding your sales and increasing your profits or not. It's doing all of these little things. There's more to it than that.
Oh,
We're
yes.
just touching on a few of the components of it. But it's an attitudinal thing. You're here to serve and provide value, right?
Absolutely. And you hit something on there, and I call it behavioral styles. I'm a behavioral styles expert. I use Carl Jung's work with my psychology, sociology background. But when you go in and if you learn how to speak the language of your prospect, if you learn to speak the language of your client rather than trying to speak your language, now there is give and take. There is your sandbox. And you share with them how you're going to play in your sandbox and how you're going to do business with them in their sandbox. And each company has a culture. We understand that. But if you can speak their language, and if you understand their behavioral style, their behavioral type, and not psychoanalysis, you don't psychoanalyze their being, but if you can learn a little bit about the different behavioral styles and go, I think I'm talking to this individual here, and I'm going to, rather than try to speak my language, I'm going to speak their language so they understand me more. And it's not manipulation. It's just a way of understanding human nature and saying, I'm going to talk to you and with you, and I'm not going to ram something down your throat that you don't need because I didn't do my due diligence, the work that I needed to do to learn about my prospect, my client in front of me.
Yeah, I have a common thread that I run through everything I do. It's actually turned into a business card, not on purpose, but by accident.
Yeah.
So, and it's basically, and it's not my original quote, I just love it. And it's no one cares about you until they know how much you care about them. And I think that's
Absolutely.
the key to being an amateur, conman, perhaps, and a professional seller. And that's, to me, the way that you can explode sales and increase profits.
Absolutely. And if you're going after the sale, they're going to smell you a mile away. And then that's what gives the sales professional a bad name. But if you're going in there to serve and to find a solution and saying, and even if you don't have a solution for them, how can you be a resource for them? How can you refer them? How can you add value, even if you're not going to do business? And I'm an advocate of that. Even if we're not going to do business, I want to at least build a relationship and, maybe whether we can get testimonials from one another. But also, if I know they love skiing, if they're in Alberta and they love going to the mountains, and if I see an article on skiing, I might just send it to them going, hey, I was thinking about you. And it's just an afterthought because people don't do those things anymore. Heck, when was the last time you got a written cursive letter written by hand? I mean, those things just don't happen. And when you do that and you show that, you really care about your prospects, you care about your clients, and that makes a big difference. That's part of the sales process as well. And it's just caring. It's just caring for your prospect, for your client. And you're there to serve. And there is a complete difference from selling and serving.
Oh, absolutely, totally. But they both start with S. But
They both start with S.
But the process is polar opposite.
Didn't you wish they would have started with PH though?
No, it doesn't.
Phil? No, I wouldn't you have liked to though. You could have played with that a little bit at least, but no.
Yeah,
Darn it.
I don't know if people. Yeah, I'll have to noodle that one a little bit.
Well, there's psychology. It's P. I don't know. Well, there's something that maybe there. I don't know.
Could play around with it. There was another thought I had, but it vaporized. So,
sorry, that was my bad.
No, it's not bad. It's the way this thing goes. It's organically.
Yes.
So yes, now it does come back. You and I are actually competitors if you have that mindset.
We do. We are competitors.
I don't see it that way. I don't live.
I don't either. Because you know this, but I'm going to share it to the audience that 90% of what you have is what your competitors have, and 5% is kind of so what. But your prospects buy about less than 5% of what you have in your product line, product or service, and one of that 5% or less than 5% is you and me. So people will buy Mark, and people will buy Phil, and people will buy Sarah, and people will buy Jim, because they resonate with them. And that's part of the drawing factor of sales, that people buy the person just as much as the product or service.
Just like Bob Burke says, they buy from people they like, know, and trust.
Yes,
And
exactly.
you and I don't live in scarcity. Because in the scarcity mindset, there's not enough for anybody and you kind of hoard things. But if you live in a collaborative mindset, possibility thinking, when people say that, well, I got to have my piece of the pie because there's not enough pie, but make more pie. It's possible.
Exactly.
Anyway,
And there's lots of pie out there and lots of ingredients out there that
Oh,
people need to make their pie.
absolutely. I'm going to give you a shameless plug, though, right now, because we're coming to we're at the 30-minute mark. Oops.
Oops.
It goes. It's okay.
Oh,
Hang
boy.
in there. Hang in there, guys. And
Hang in there.
Here it comes as soon as I remember how to push buttons. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do, oh, don't push that one. Push this one. So this is a website of yours, Ignite,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
where's my banner for you? It's coming right up so that people can, because nobody can really read that on the screen, can they? I mean, they can.
Oh,
not
yes.
the URL. Here it comes.
No. There it
Don't
is.
trick. Trust it. Bernard.
Yes.
.training, and you may want to put www, but if it doesn't work,
No, there's no www in front of it. It's HTTPS
oh, you're going to make
colon
it really
slash. So it's the new version, and you're going to see a lot more websites like this now. They're getting rid of the .coms and the .orgs and
I'm from
.nets.
Missouri. Watch, I'm going to demonstrate to everybody what he's talking about doesn't
Yes.
happen the way you think it.
Nope.
Did I
It's
spell
just-
that right? That's the key. I'm getting there.
Yeah, Bernard Training, and I was educated
Look
by
what
my.
happened. You will not get there.
Oh, you need HTTPS.
I know. I'm demonstrating.
Yes.
I'm demonstrating. So
Yes.
you won't get there if you do that. Do the H stuff anyway.
HTTPS. Yes.
That stuff. That is the stuff.
Yeah. So
That's
you're
how
going
they
to see a lot
find
more. Yeah. So it's new, and you're going to see a lot more websites like that with the HTTPS or HTTP. And there's I'm not a web individual or code
Yeah, me
person,
neither.
but
I have people who do that stuff for me.
yes. But that's coming.
If
But
there
I
was
appreciate
one-
that plug.
If there was one 30-second thing that you would like to share with the audience, where they're watching now, in the future, immediate future, or 5 years from now, what's one thing you want to leave them and depart with?
I would say work on self. If you're going to make it in any business that you have, whether you're an entrepreneur, an employee, or thinking of becoming an entrepreneur, I would say invest in yourself. I have what I call 7 steps to success. And my last one is to hire a coach, a sales coach, a life coach, find a mentor, find a mastermind group so you can grow and you can build that confidence and grow your business. And with that, you can do anything because it's all mindset.
Yeah, well
It's
said. I
all
like
mindset.
that. Well, I want to thank you for popping in and sharing a bit of your time with us today, and the nuggets that you laid down on us. I appreciate that, man.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So that's a wrap for today. I've got a couple of things I want to do is administrative things. So hang on, audience. We'll be right back with you. So explode sales and increase profits. It sounds like you need to show up and serve, ask questions, listen to what they're saying, and present a solution and give them the options, just like a great doctor would do. That's a fun fact on Friday with Phil. We were messing around with the PHs. So anyway, it was funny in my head. But before we leave, I would like to impart on you this and remind you that you are wonderful and continue to be your wonderful, unique self. A mentor of mine many years ago introduced me to this concept, and on behalf of him, I'm making sure that other people can see that the you represents you. So go act like you. If you like what this is about, share it with other people. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. If you would do that, would be greatly appreciated. And if you do want to get the business growth score, just go to our website, Phil at Coach. Oh, that's my email address. Just go to coachphil.ca. There's a button there. There's nothing to buy, no credit cards required, and it'll give you some insights as to where you are in your business or where you might want to sharpen the axe in a particular area. Until next time, I'm Coach Phil, host of the Business Renovator.
I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one.